Hi and welcome to our next installment of UTD Under the Hood. This is a video series in which we all take a deeper look into what's under the hood, what makes UTD run. As some of you might know, my name is Andrew Georgitsis, and I'll be sort of leading you through this video series. So far, we've looked at and we've taken a quick look at an overview, of course, but more importantly, a little bit of my background as Andrew, getting to know me as the co-founder of UTD and now the CEO. And of course, Jeff Seckendorf, you got to meet as well, also the co-founder and vice president of UTD. And you've also got a little bit about UTD's background and what our mission and our purpose is. You got a little bit about our philosophy. Hey, what's our ethos? What do we stand for? We're not just standing there going, let's make some dough. No. There's a lot going on about us, about our 10 covenants. About our teaching philosophy, our equipment philosophy. We even talked a little bit about you, the diver, the core of this whole thing. Keeping your end goal in mind. That was a great series. The one before this you guys looked at was the training paths. And so today I want to go on and into a little bit more about supporting materials. What are the materials and so forth. Now, keep in mind, if you haven't watched the ones previously, you can go back to table of contents and you can go through each one. I suggest you do them sequentially because that way you'll get a better foundation and knowledge of what we're talking about as we get into things like supporting materials. Now, traditionally, we thought to ourselves when we started this in 2008, we had this what should we call it? Idea of where we weren't going to have any printed materials. That was kind of our why waste the paper? Why have all this legacy? Blah, blah, blah. And we came to find that, some people love the idea and other people prefer printed books. We also came to find that not everything was viewable across the world. We may here in the United States have perfect internet, so I can watch videos online, but in reality, not so good across the world. So we've tried to find a balance, because remember, the other thing we want to do is make sure that all of our materials are in the multiple languages throughout the world. So of course we've got them in English, but we've got to have them in Spanish, we've got to have them in Italian, we've got to have them in all the different languages. And even some countries such as China, 2 languages. Yes, we have to have them in Mandarin and in Cantonese. And then we might even have to have, if we print them, in 2 different types of printing, because some of the languages have. So you can see the complexities that go into this. Now, one of our covenants was we want to have support materials for every single class we teach. You can't take a class from UTD and go, hey, you know what? We just don't have materials to support that class, but take it anyways. Not so. So we have a large variety of types of materials, and they might even be individualized in the countries in which you are taking the class. But the important part is that every single instructor has a copy, both digitally and printed, of the standards and procedures. Most important document. That document, standards and procedures, basically for us, you can also go onto our website and you can download them. So if you go on our website, you can also go and you can download our standards and procedures. Okay? So right underneath here, under About Us, standards and procedures, you can actually download them. And that is the most important document, because what that does is outline every single class, prerequisites, what's required, blah, 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 blah. The next important document that every instructor has is something like this, that is the instructor, what we call protocols and procedures, procedure manual. This is how an instructor, a template for our instructors to teach these classes. Some of them, pretty simple. When I say to teach, open water class, right? Semicircle formation, instructor positioning. Why does the instructor always start on the left? So if instructors out there, think about this. If you're calling an out of air, why would you always have the student on the left calling the out of air? give you some food for thought. See what I'm saying? So our procedures manual goes through that and the reasoning why. Because these are very, very, very important protocols. Because I'm not saying that calling the student on the right out of air is going to kill the student, but you as the instructor are not in the right position. So in this document, we talk a lot about instructor positioning and where and why and how do you be in the safest position to help the student. And of course, when you start getting into much more technical teaching and shadow diving, it even becomes more critical, especially like you have to be in a completely different position when you've got an outbound set of students than an inbound set of students. So a large part of our instructor classes and this manual go through, why do you want to do this? And if you're in this situation as instructor, how do you prioritize? Because remember, you yourself have got an order of importance as instructor, and you don't want to give up student safety, you know. And there's so many, like right now, some of these agencies have got, you know, lawsuits where, you know, the instructor messed up because the agency doesn't have a protocol, doesn't teach them these things. So this document does this for us, outlines it in detail. So that way, you as an instructor have you know, you're learning how to teach underwater. These are very, very important documents that we have. Then we have another very important document that's both printed like this, it comes in a book, as well as it's online and so forth, and that is called the Student and Diver Procedure Manual. Now this one, as supporting materials, is kind of like the Bible. Okay? It tells you everything. If you basically want to steal everything from UTD and know every single protocol, I'm not saying you can actually do them, but you just buy this document and there's everything in here. Student and Diver Procedure Manual. When you open it up, you go to the table of contents and you'll see is every single drill, skill, everything outlined in detail. I can just pick anyone. Let's pick, you know, I don't know, how about in-water recompression procedures? Oops, no, let's not do that one because everybody's like, what? You guys promote that? Of course we promote that. But let's pick a different one just for the fun of it. Let's pick Basic 6, page 77. When you turn over to page 77, you will see everything there is to know about Basic 6. So we'll teach you on all the different configurations. So you got back mount, side mount, and rebreather. So all our different tools have got Basic 6. You'll learn the reasons why. So you'll go through what are the reasons why. You'll go through the individual skill. You'll go through the team skill. And you'll go through point by point by point. So you'll look at it, it'll say, observe trim and buoyancy. Right hand on long hose, near bolt snap. Palm facing in, bolt snap inside palm. See how detailed that is? It tells you every little detail. Every, you know, blah, blah, blah. So that you would say, why? Why would you want to have your palm on the hose? Well, because you don't want to block the regulator. That's what your instructor will teach you, the reasons why. So if you're donating, your teammate can still get to that purge button. Why must your palm be facing inside with the bolt snap hanging down? So you can, with one hand, grab the bolt snap and clip it off. It's a one-handed movement. You see, there's many, many reasons in there. And it's outlined in detail for you to, as a student, but also as an instructor, to teach the protocol exactly the way this book outlines. And that is critical to a standardized, consistent education. You see, this is what these documents, standards and procedures, instructor protocols and procedures, UTD student and diver procedures, that's what makes UTD unique across the entire diving agencies. You can be guaranteed that the person teaching down the road or across the world is taught 100% the same as you. The protocol is 100% the same. So later, if you guys meet on a dive boat, and even so you speak Chinese and I speak English, when we go to dive together, our protocols are 100% compatible, 100% consistent, 100% scalable, 100% configurable. You understand? These are all of our ethos and protocol, but this is what makes UTD unique. I don't know how many of you have been out on a dive boat before and you get somehow buddied up with somebody and you go, gonna give that one wide berth underwater, because they don't. No. That you'll never find in UTD. We are trained alike. We think alike. We dive alike. Our protocols are alike. And these are the supporting materials that are the core to it all. Standards and procedures, instructor protocols and procedures, or what we call the instructor playbook, but you know. And then of course, the student diver and procedure manual, which is a document also for instructors, but super important to keep everything tight, right? Of course, we do have printed versions of any of our classroom material. So we have books like this called, you know, The Essentials of Technical Diving, which is basically the same PowerPoints, slides that you find online with the voiceover notes. So online, you don't get these notes, you just get them in voiceover, but it's the same thing. These, again, just are supporting what you can find in our library digitally. Some, like this book, Scuba Diving, are standalone. What I like about Scuba Diving is a way of basically being down at the beach where you know, people can try scuba diving, you want to call it, become scuba divers, and they can go out where the tank floats on the surface, and with a long 20-foot hose they can be down exploring, and they can be enjoying 20-foot and shallower diving very quickly, very easily, without the cumbersomeness of the gear. This is also our solution for high schools, you know, juniors, stuff like that, because we believe that kids, you know, especially if they're under the age of 16, if they can't drive a car to rent the dive gear, they probably should not be self-contained underwater, hence the word scuba. And there have been so many deaths where kids have been separated from their parents and not had the mindset to come up, and basically swam around until they ran out of air and have perished. And the parents is on the surface. So Scuba is our solution to this, because what Scuba does is take away a lot of the hindrances for kids, doesn't it? It takes away the weight of the gear. If the tank's floating on the surface, that's 35 pounds, 17 kilos less they have to wear. They are connected to the floating tank via a hose, a 20-foot, 6-meter hose. So guess what? They can't just swim off and go do their own thing. They are contained, not self-contained. So when the 10-year-old's exploring and you need them back, you can give them a little yank and they will come back. You understand? Also, we don't know the damaging effects of nitrogen underwater and the high pressure nitrogen on children, their development of their plates and of their bodies. So again, 20-foot and shallower guarantees we're not going to have any DCS/nitrogen issues with a 10-year-old. The jury's still out on that. So that's why this program is so successful when teaching young kids. We've got great school programs for this. We've got junior programs and so forth. Now, what I like about this manual, completely self-contained. Check it out. This is your waiver and release. You sign at the beach. Once it's signed, you can tear it out. It's perforated. You as an instructor hang on to that. Your student then goes through the manual. Manual, blah, 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 while you're at the beach. Takes about 20 minutes. Never hold your breath, blah, blah, blah. All the good stuff. Guess what? They take their test right here in the manual. Again, it's perforated. You can tear it out, score it. You keep it for your records. And they get their certificate right in their manual. That they completed this course and are now certified to use the Scuba system. So some of you have heard this name under Scuba. This is Scuba, but it's, again, we use it for kids. We use it for training, extreme scuba makeover. We use it in open water class. We use this in a lot of areas, and this is the manual that goes along with it. So like I said, you know, these are some of the supporting materials. Of course, we do have DVDs still. I know to some people, they still have a fax machine, they still have an 8-track tape, they still have a DVD player. Nowadays, with everything online, All of the stuff is streamed online through our website. Okay, so you can go to our website, and under the educational side, you can see all the different classes available, and each one of those have their own materials. Now, if you purchase those materials, you can use them and purchase them and read them for your own personal use. Okay, now again, we have them in multiple languages. You see the flags up there? You can choose languages and countries. We also have them cross-platformable. So if you want them on your phone, we have them in HTML5. So you can simply watch them on your phone. If you go to under My Education, up here there's a tab called My Education tab. If you click that, you actually will go to a page. My internet's super slow. This is business internet in America. Slow. Okay. You will notice that you have an outline of all of your materials. And you can look at your materials. You can see, oh, there, look at this. This is all the materials that I own and the quizzes, and I can view the purchased material. So I can actually come in here and I can say, okay, let me go and have a look at an open water class or whatever class I want. So in this particular case, I'm just going to pull up open water just because it's just something I know, or try Scuba, doesn't matter. Open water class, view purchased material. So I can click it, and these are all the different chapters. Now, if you haven't purchased them, it'll come up and say, please purchase them. And you'll need to pay your $99. And in actual fact, I think that's, relatively right in the middle priced. I think that some of the support materials out there from other agencies are as high as $150, and other ones are sort of as low as $70, $80. So we're right in the middle, maybe a little bit on the lower side. But the quality of the materials is the highest on the industry by far. When you start looking at these chapters, you can actually click the chapter, you can see the video program. It'll come up in HTML5, and it slides.
Well, this is an overview of what we
with the voiceover.
1. Always breathe slowly and continuously.
Okay, so that's nice.
We'll look at how to breathe underwater, then some of the physics about the gas we breathe.
You'll also notice that we do have in these chapters, to go with them, you'll actually have the PDF as well. So you can actually download and print the PDF for your own viewing while you're listening to voiceover. So if you prefer, you can print them as well. We also have in all of those the videos. The same video that's on here is in there. Okay? So we do stream the videos as well. So in these chapters, along the way, you will find video content.
There are other considerations.
So as you move through the slides,
Yep.
I don't know if this one has or not, but we'll take a look.
The only pro we can find with carbon dioxide.
Yep, yeah, they are. So here's the video that will stream to you on removing and replacing your regulators. So these videos were shot, by some of our instructors, and this particular one I believe is by Ben Boss out in Denmark. And we're looking at the basic 6 using side mount, and you can see the video very clearly. And this would basically be the expectation. There is also voiceover, so that's a very, very nice feature.
To confirm flow and position.
Okay, of course you've got your tests, your quizzes, so you can complete your quizzes over here. Once you complete it, you will fill out a statement of completion. So yes, you can have a statement of completion. Now remember, all of this can be done on the mobile app. So UTD, we do have a mobile app, and when you have your mobile app, you can go into your mobile app, and again, you can scroll through the tab on the left. There's a tab on the left. You can scroll through it, and you'll actually see My Education, the exact same tab. You click it, and you get HTML5. You can also click, and you can get your own certification. So right off the mobile app, within a minute, 2 clicks, there's your C card. So you can even have full digital certification right on your phone, along with your plastic card if you choose still to live in that era when you want to have a plastic card to show your certification. But nowadays with digital world, it's all available digitally, as well as all of your forms, all your certifications and everything. So these classes okay, are your content. So they are interesting, they are required, but they are supportive to your instructor. They're not going to tell you everything. They're going to give you sort of a broad foundation of everything. Okay? They're going to give you a broad foundation. Now, you can also find that not only do you have the courses, this broad foundation, you can also, under the education, you can also look at things like our online videos. That's just these. So maybe you don't want to buy a whole rebreather class, but you want to see what we have for Essentials of Rebreather. You can just come in and buy the videos, and we will have the same voiceovers and same videos of just the rebreather class. Okay? So there's all of that information too. Now, another very important particular type of class we have, or event we have, is something what we call global prep classes. Now, this was an idea that Jeff came up with, I guess Jeff and I, and the idea here was, here you are getting ready to take your Tech 2 class, and you've got to fly all the way over to Italy to do it, let's just say. So, you open up your required materials, and it's Tech 2 materials, $99, and in those materials, the instructor, or in those materials, you see, I don't know, blah, 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 gas calculation, and you see, you know, Y nitrox and trimix and carbon dioxide and a whole bunch of theoretical stuff that's great foundational. But you don't have a clue what to expect when it comes to the actual physical part of the class, the dry runs, maybe the in-water work. Yeah, you've seen stage switch, but you don't really know what's involved. You've heard about something called, let's say, a valve failure number 9, and you're like, okay, I don't know what that is, but I'm sure when I arrive in Italy, my instructor will show me. Absolutely. But the reason why we call it global prep class is because in actual fact, you can pre-take that information from a real UTD instructor. So in other words, it's not a PowerPoint with a voiceover. It's actually somebody teaching the class, and they're teaching the practical part of the class so they can prepare you for the class. So again, if you were going to do your technical class, you would purchase Global Preparatory Prep Class. And when you register for it and so forth, you will basically purchase those materials. Now, they're not required to take your class, but they are an awesome support materials for the class, because what they do is you get to take the class before you arrive in Italy. The full class. It's a full 8 hours of lecture and dry runs and everything from the instructor. So the really, really amazing part about it is now when you arrive in Italy, you actually have a much better idea of what's going on. Right? Because you've already taken the class, you see? I've already... So if I go there, I'm not going to show it all to you, the whole walkthrough, but basically it ends up in your education. So you've now taken this whole video series, and it's hours of lectures and dry runs, and it's interactive. It's not like the support materials, the online class materials. This global preparatory class is very interactive, very one-on-one. Now what happens is you arrive in Italy, you're ready to go with your Tech 1 class, and during the class, the instructor talks about, let's say, failure number 7, and for some reason, you're like, I just don't remember it. Guess what? It's in these materials. So now you're like, sweet, you can go down to your class, global preparatory class, and let's see if I can find one here. And when you click it, this is just another one, this is just ESM, it doesn't matter. But the point being, when you click it, here's the video series that covers it in detail. So you'll notice, like when you're watching this one, for example, right? If we get through these titles. Okay.
Okay, welcome back to
See
the next chapter.
how you with the instructor,
Any of the previous chapters.
and there's the student. So you're actually going one-on-one with her.
Have to do them in order.
Everything she's doing, you're doing, blah blah blah. You're seeing it live.
What you do is when you go ahead and put your fins and booties on. What you go ahead and get your mask and your snorkel.
So it's a fantastic way for you to, number one, prepare for a class, but number two, if you're in a class, and something's confusing, you can just go right back to the chapter. And the best yet of all of it is now you leave. You fly home from Italy, you're at home, you get home after 3 months, you're like, that was such an awesome class. I'm going to jump in the water and I'm going to go back down there and I'm going to practice my state switching. What was that again? Was it? And then boom, you got the video. Go back to your global class and it's identical to what you already learned. You understand? So it's a great way to cement, to have forever, your class in real time, right? And that's what they're for. Again, they're not mandatory. They're super inexpensive. They're like $129. And the idea being, when you've spent, I don't know what it would take, to do a class in Italy, but the instructor's $1,500, the week that you're there, the gases, the boat ride, the whole thing, you've spent $4,000 to get your Tech 2 certification. You don't want to forget about it. You want to be able to go back to it and remember all those skills and cement them. So for $129, it's still cheap. But anyway, I'm not here to sell to you. I'm trying to explain to you that what we do differently in these support materials is we provide everything for you. We provide the standards and procedures. We provide the instructor playbook or operations manual. How do you do this stuff? All the way to the actual book in which, is the Bible. You can actually open and read every single detail about how to do a stage switch. You, of course, can get your materials online. They're not going to give you the details of how to do it. They're going to give you the sort of the brush strokes. Nitrogen is and nitrox is, and your stage switch, is, or deco switch is, for the oxygen window, and oxygen window is defined by, you see what I mean? It's knowledge. It's not technical, detailed points. Global prep class is, you would actually get the instructor teaching how to do stage switch and all the reasoning why and everything, as if you were actually in the class. And all of this combined is then available on the phones, laptops, various platforms. Believe me, this is what we pull our hair out every single day about, is getting, this ability across the world. And of course, if you're in China, into multiple languages. That is what makes UTD so unique. We have it in Chinese, Korean, Italian, Spanish, English, of course, and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, if you have any questions about this week's video, about our support materials, please feel free to email us at info@unifiedteamdiving. And as always, gang, safe dives.